Hi there, welcome to today's video blog on LinkedIn. Today I really want to talk about running a group on LinkedIn. Now you can be a member of up to 50 groups on LinkedIn, and these are places where professionals like you hang out. So for example, I'm in Brisbane, so there's a group called Brisbane Professionals, for example, and you can go and be in that group and connect with a whole bunch of other professionals in Brisbane. If you work in supply chain and logistics, there's a whole array of supply chain and logistics groups, not just in Australia, but overseas as well. And so they're quite targeted groups where people hang out who have similar roles or similar interests in their industry. Now, one of the things that I often get asked is it worth running a group? Is it going to help me grow my business? And I think that there are a couple of things to really consider before you do that. The first one is probably to think about what are the benefits of running a group. And the first one is that you get to position yourself as the go-to person in that area of expertise. If you're running that group, you get to meet each person that comes through, and you get to also increase your visibility. So it means that people become more aware of who you are, and you become a little bit more known. And the other thing is that you've got a responsive audience right in your group. So they're quite targeted, and you know they have a common interest. So if you're looking to market to that group, then they're your ideal audience. There are a few disadvantages though, and I think the first one is it can be pretty time consuming. If you don't have the time and the resources to do it, I think there are sometimes better return on investment to do other things than running a group. So it's not for everyone. It can chew up your time a little bit. The second one is that once you open it, you can't close it. So you'll have to decide that you're going to be pretty committed, or otherwise you're going to have to get someone else to manage it if you decide not to anymore. The third disadvantage is that it has limited analytics. So you will find it hard to work out, is it really getting the benefit that I had hoped? So you'll be using your intuition a bit more, just watching what's going on. So to prove a return on investment out of it is quite difficult. So if you're thinking about doing it, I think there are really three things you need to consider as to whether it's going to work for you or not. The first one is that you've got to have a purpose. What's the point? What's the reason of running? Why would you run this group? Is it just because it seemed like a good idea, or do you actually have an intention to add value to the group in a certain way? But what's the purpose? What's the point? Why would you bother? The second question I would have is, are you prepared to manage the expectations, or you will need to manage the expectations of the group? So you're going to get people in your group who you're going to have to manage. Are you happy to be clear that these are the expectations? So if you're going to be a member, here's what I expect. You will not flame people, you will no derogatory comments or those types of things. So you're going to have to be clear and set those up, because the group will respect you if you can control those people or remove them, and be clear about the rules of the group and that what they will need to do if they end up being removed. And then the third thing is that your job is to contribute. So there's no point in setting your group up and then you sitting back and expecting that everybody else is going to look after it for you. So your job is to keep it moving, is to contribute and drive content. I remember I was in a group a while ago, and the guy set it up, and it was a bunch of career professionals, and he was starting to get upset that people weren't putting in as much effort as him. And it started to almost seem like he had a job, but I don't think he had very much to do. So what was happening, he was sort of trying to get all these people to take over the reins, and he said, I'm getting frustrated because I'm the only one doing it. Well, maybe a group's not the right thing for you if you're going to become a bit resentful that you're the only one contributing. So, but your job, if you're going to set the group up, is that you need to drive the contribution, because if you don't, it's all just going to be a complete waste of time for everybody. So I hope that's helpful. You can go away and set up your group if you have the time, the resources, the energy, and you think it will be valuable for your audience. So I will look forward to hearing how you go. And in the meantime, you're very welcome, if you would like to find out more about LinkedIn, you're welcome to buy my Connect book, which is called Connect. how to leverage your LinkedIn profile for business growth and lead generation in less than 7 minutes per day. And it's available on Amazon, Book Depository, on my website, all the usual places. So I look forward to seeing you on the next video.